Everyone, and welcome to the EGXW Info Group of Twitter accounts YouTube channel. So this is the second video in the series looking at what do a 352 Special Operations Wing based at RF Mildenhall get up to when they fly up every night to the Lake District and the Yorkshire Dales. And this is part 2 because we're going to be flying it at night. Now, if you haven't seen part 1, you probably want to have a look at that because that explains some of the systems that we'll be using along with the route. A link to the route is in the descriptions below. So here's our map here. We've got this is a quick recap. Head mounted display, horizon line, velocity vector. If I'm below the horizon, I'm descending. If I'm above the horizon, I am climbing. And we're going to be using the handy tool, which is the terrain radar. Here we go. And we're going to be flying it, like I say, at night off the terrain radar, about 500 feet from the ground, and we're going to try and survive. Now, I am very tired. I'm making loads of mistakes, so I wouldn't actually fly a real aircraft this level of fatigue, but it's only a simulator, so we'll have a crack at it and see what happens this time. So, should we get on with the flight? And I'll unpause the video. Let's see how we do. On the RA on the hood is the radar altimeter, you see there. There we are. And we want to be aiming for 500 feet. We're already getting off to a bad start there, so let's pick this up now. There we go. So turning the green, turning the red to yellow and the yellow to green. So we're going to be below 500 feet here as we just get over this peak. Because it's still going to be yellow. There we go. Level us off. This gives you an idea how you can navigate it and fly at night using the terrain radar. Really good visual tool, a lot better than me explaining it in, say, an audio only form. I'm going to go over Middlesmore rather than the reservoir to our north. I'm just going to check all my headings are correct. Oh. I'm just going to do a nice fast climb now. So as I explained in the first video, I haven't done this for months. So I'm going to be rather rusty. Hopefully as the flight goes on, I'll get a bit better at it. So I still need to climb because I've got that patch of yellow. That's it, and then we'll level off there. And that should be our 500 foot margin. In nicely. So as you can see, we can't really see a thing here. So look out the window, very little to see, very little to navigate with. not even going to bother telling you where I'm going here, because I'm going to be so task saturated flying this very difficult flight up the valley here at night down to 500 feet off the deck. So like I say, follow along on the route map that I've provided in the descriptions, and have a watch the first video because that'll give you a better idea of the geography that we're flying around. Okay, so we've got a hill in front of us, so I'm going to start a climb to make that yellow green. So we know we're going to miss it by at least 500 feet. Yellow is 0 to 500 feet. Green is more than 500 feet. And red is below 0 feet, i.e. you're going to crash into it if you carry on. So I'm aiming for a speed of 250 knots. My speed control isn't great, mainly because I'm quite task saturated with navigating at the minute. But it gives you an idea of what they can maybe see out the window. Let's go in yellow in front, so we're just gonna bump over that. Probably be a tad under 500. Yeah, 490. Look, see how accurately that you can start navigating when you get used to this terrain rider. And again, another bit of yellow emerged in front, so we're gonna just reverse that descent and just bump over the top. Here we go, look, green again. So we're looking at the center column here, that white line where we're going. As we navigate our way down these valleys. Tighten that right up now. That's it. It's always a good idea to try and navigate for follow the lowest part of the valley, keep as much height as you can. So I'm very close to objects, terrain on my right hand side there, closer than I really should have been. Yeah. Isn't terrain radar a lovely invention? See the lights of the M6 past there. Starting to get in the groove, so to speak now. Found it a little bit easier. This is really tight now to get round here. They're going to be watching that terrain radar, using any visual cues that we've got. The M6. Now the M6 isn't right at the bottom of this valley, so we've got to be really careful here. Starting to get some yellow in front of us, so we're going to make that yellow green with a gentle climb. And we're going to slowly plot our way around. There we go. This valley. Using that terrain radar, making sure that everything's okay in front. Just be careful on my right hand side, look, because there's a big old hill there. So I've got to wait until it's clear on that terrain radar before I'm turning in. Slightly close to it. There we go. This is the M6 T-Base Services area now. As the terrain in front of us opens up. Like I said in the first video, it's not until you use the 360 radar plots, plot a rough route, and then fly it in the sim, do you really get an idea of what these guys are doing in their training. To fly at low level at night. I mean, their job is to insert and extract special forces, as I mentioned, and you need to be proficient at low level night flying using the tools they've got. Obviously they may have night vision goggles. We can simulate night vision goggles in X-Plane. Absolutely terrible. All it does is put a green hue over and a warning about your scenery packs. So it doesn't really help out in X-Plane. I'm sure in real world the gogs will be far more efficient. And of course it gives, it's just trying to give that green phosphorus effect of NVGs. Of course they may have green phosphorus available, white phosphorus available. Who knows? So we've got about 700 on the RA. It's not a bad height, but we can take it down a bit further. A slight bit of terrain there, just coming up on the port side, so just swinging that nose left slightly, aiming for the groove. See 2 miles ahead of us, just on our right side of track. So yellow bit here. These range rings are 2 and 4 nautical miles, just to give you an idea. Gonna bump it left so that when we turn right we've got a slightly better angle. Just right here. So bumping it left, but now bumping it right. And banking to the right. So I'm now going to be heading for the end of, I think it's Ullswater. So we can see yellow in front, so it's going to power on into the climb, make that yellow green on the terrain radar, head for the end of the lake, which is brilliantly represented there, and everything's green now in front of us, so I'm just going to drop that nose down, level this off, and we should be 500 feet above the terrain at its highest in a minute, in about 1.5 miles. So that RA shouldn't be going below 500 if I've timed this right. Let's pick that nose up and saddle it over. So it shouldn't be too far above 500, but it certainly shouldn't be below it. So I think I saw about 680 there. Okay. So coming up to Pooley Bridge on the end of Ullswater, on that northeast side. And there we go. And then we're going to bank it left, come on to a heading of 270 degrees, see the heading at the top of the hood. That's it. I'm just going to delay that last 10 degrees because you see just off to the off to the left at about 2 miles an hour we've got that little area of high ground, and I'm not gonna put a climb in. I'm just going to avoid that with lateral navigation, and then once I'm sure I'm around that, I'm going to put the next 10 degrees in, bring that heading round back onto our desired course. Okay, there we go. There's our 10 degrees in. I'm just going to roll that out. Then I'm going to navigate now with the terrain radar, following that route map on Google. I can see that I want to be in this gap here, so I'm going to aim for the middle of the gap. And now I know I can take it down now. We're quite high, 900 feet on the RA. Don't worry about the barometric altitude, I haven't even bothered setting that. It's not a real flight. Don't have to worry about things like traffic. So I'm not doing all the checks that the professional pilots will be doing, either inside the cockpit or outside the cockpit. So I've got that descent in now. We're coming up to 600 on the RA. So I'm just going to start leveling it off. You can see more of the ground either side is now becoming yellow, and it's showing us a path right the way through. So I'm going to put the power in to bring that speed up and level the nose off. I'm going to just look at that path, and I'm going to take a slight right deviation. See, just at that sweet spot there I'm aiming for on the RA. See, at about 2 miles I've got a little gap. Coming up to 1.5 miles now. It's going to level that nose. So I've got this berm off to our left. Our right, sorry. I've just got to make sure I avoid. I'm going to put a slight tilt in because it is quite high. Okay, and we are now clear of that, so I'm going to start taking the course change now. And we're quite high over that valley, so I'm going to let it drop a little bit, but I'm going to have to watch the terrain radar, sorry. Just make sure that it's not rapidly going yellow all around us. That's it, though. Bring that course onto this lake here. Making sure we're right in the middle of the mountains, following the groove of the valley. Leveling the turn. Leveling off, selecting desired power, and just trimming it a touch nose down. Just got to watch that berm off to our right. So this one we've got to just keep an eye on none of this goes suddenly yellow or green. And I'm quite happy there, and I'm going to be over the water in a second, so I'm going to drop it right down to about 500 feet on the R8. So easing off the power. Let's just pull that around to the lake a bit better. So I am flying it quite high. Obviously with more practice you get better at this. Get more precision in your flying. And I'd be able to keep much better discipline. But it's been months since I've flown on the terrain radar and radar altimeter, so certainly very rusty. I think when I got used to it, wasn't more than sort of 100 feet out of 500 at a time. So, putting our left turn in now. Just going to pick up the nose very slightly, pick up that power because I've got to run wide in this turn because I was too busy yapping. I'm just going to make that yellow green in front of us so we know we're safe. We're safe now. Again, I'm a bit right of track here. So you can see the radar's picking up water. And of course water is normally at the lowest point, so really you want to be tracking that water. And generally speaking, it's not going to put you too far wrong. So 1,000 on the RA, so I can afford to knock it down slightly, which I'm doing now. coming up to 250 as well, so power back very slightly. Okay, 750 feet. Coming up for a right turn, so I'm just going to level that now so I don't distract myself in the turn. Now I'm just going to turn it around here, give it a nice angle of bank. Again, I'm a bit late in my turns really. Okay. There we go. And then we're going to slowly bring it around to a southerly heading because we're quite far off track, to be honest, although I'm following the river, which inevitably is going to lead to the sea, and that's not where we want to go. So as I said, I may not fly all this route because I did it in the daytime and you sort of get an idea of what's going on. Now that's a funny light effect. That's a little X-Plane 11 quirk, isn't it? I think someone's switching on and off the city lights and having a bit of a disco there. Here we go again, look. I've got the horizon disco going on. So you can see in front of us on the terrain radar, we've got some yellow coming up. So it's going to power on, knock that nose up to about 3 degrees. See if we can get that yellow turning green, which we can quite successfully. We're green on track now, so leveling the nose, taking the power slightly down. There we go. So now I'm going to be about 500 feet over that, probably around 550, 600, I would have thought, over that berm which is coming up. Now, yeah, I think we're at 620 there. That terrain radar, once you get used to it, is really good for route navigation as well. Especially if you're good at reading contours on a map. I mean, most aviation charts have very loose contours, to be fair, but I mean, if you're navigating off the 50,000 map or even 100, it can have excellent contours on there. They've probably got nice mapping tools available on the multifunction displays, I would have thought. Gonna have some excellent tools in those aircraft. I'd love to go up and film with these guys and just show you what tools I have in the cockpit to navigate and safely aviate with. Okay, terrain a warning at 500 there, so we just cut that little yellow bit, didn't we? Just a little bit close, which is fair enough. I just knew we were a bit west of track, really. I think I can knock it down. I start seeing yellow at about 4 miles on the terrain radar. I'm thinking, maybe now isn't the time for a descent. I'm going to take a bit of a funny route here, actually. So this might not be the official route, but I'm seeing a gap that I quite like. A little saddle in this hill, so to speak, and I'm wondering if that's up by Wood End. Which is nearer where I want to be. In fact, let's just roll it out. I wonder. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to head for that reservoir that I can see just on the right of my nose. And I'm going to climb it up now. Quite an aggressive climb. And then level it off. And we'll see if we've got 500. Here we go, 500. Nicely. So now I'm setting up for, look at this, 2 miles. We've got that reservoir, we've got yellow, so I'm going to start stepping it up. That's it. And then pretty much green now. I've got a green path through. So I'm going to level that nose down again. And then make sure I'm turning properly over the reservoir. That's it. Again, I'm a little far to the right of track, but the turns are all a little bit late, just because I'm not quite getting used to it yet. I think this is my path through. Okay. Must be a way to zoom in and out on the old terrain radar there. I just don't press any buttons really. He says, pressing buttons. So I'm slightly off track, so I'm just making some navigational adjustments now. If you're following along the route, you've probably realised this. I'm slightly east of where I want to be on this southbound heading. Okay, so you got some yellow coming up. It's now green. Oh, big cojones to do this in real life, haven't you? You really have. Just had a glint of yellow there, so I was going to bump it up very slightly and then level it off because I think we're going to hit about 550 on the red out. Oh no. The margins are a bit better than I'd thought. So. Yeah, so other than being informative for the first minute or two, I'm not sure this video is fast-paced and attention-grabbing. But I'm having fun, so I'm going to upload it nonetheless. Just going to keep an eye on this slightly scary terrain in front. It's very steep. Problem is, there's not many features on that map, is there? At all. There's me trying to navigate by that map. It's not very successful there. So again, just making that yellow-green on the terrain radar. I think I'm coming up to the forest of Bowland, but could be completely barking up the wrong tree. This video suddenly turns into a shout on guard for a position fit. How to do that on comms. We'll try to avoid that then. I feel like that forest wants to drag me into. Still here, I haven't drifted off to sleep quite yet. But to be honest, I find flying quite relaxing, so I'm very happy. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just watching that terrain radar all the time, checking my HUD, making sure my parameters are right, my speed's okay, checking what climb I'm at, checking my RA, then really focusing on this. Then I'll do a quick map check, HUD check, follow that terrain again. Probably thought to bump it down a little, Dad. Oh, I'm coming up at 3 miles. I've got that bit, so I think if I go down a bit more, that'll start to yellow off towards my track. But we'll give it a whirl. Just a 1 degree. Like I said before, once you start following the terrain radar, the route that they take just makes sense. It really does. For their training. Just following these valleys, watching that radar. You know, minimum of 500 feet. AGL. I believe this is Grimwith Reservoir. On our left. Well, I flew the whole route in the end, didn't we? Yeah. So this is the area now where they'd be thinking about pulling up from low level. Probably a call on UK low fly system safety com, just seeing where they are, exiting the low level. Thinking about pulling it up, setting a course for Linton on Ouse, and then giving a Swanwick a call for a service. on the way home. So I'll probably leave it there. Hope you enjoyed the video. Found it as relaxing as I did. I don't think we can see the Osprey from the outside. I would give you a view if I could. Look at those lovely rotor blades. The Osprey is amazing to photograph at night. It really is. I think we've got some stutter in there on the graphics. It didn't like that. Yeah, so hope you enjoyed the flight. Hope you found it informative. I'm not a big one to be loud and everything on my videos. Hope you found it relaxing. Flying's supposed to be relaxing, I think. Hope you enjoyed it. And put any questions in the comments below and I'll answer them. Don't forget to check the route map in the description. And you probably should check out part 1 if you haven't already. Hopefully we'll have some more videos coming up on other informative topics. And we'll use various tools that we've got available, including the flight simulator. And take care everyone. See you later.